This is the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show. Heard every Saturday and Sunday from noon to 1 p.m. right here on AM 800.
Thank you for doing a good job as always.
Now back to the show with broker owner and host, Dan Gemus.
Okay, yes, welcome back to the show. With you till 1 o'clock today and back with you tomorrow from noon to 1 here on AM 800. In studio with me today, Joyce Blackmere, our Director of Sales. Hi, Joyce.
Hello.
The newest sales member of the Dan Gemus team, Fatty Eldondachi. Hi, Fatty.
How are you?
Fantastic, thank you. Now, we may have all heard this past week, we've talked about it quite a bit. I was on the air with Mike and Leah as well, talking about the new act, a foreign buyer's ban, essentially. It's called the Prohibition on the Purchase of Residential Property by Non-Canadians. And the whole point of the act is the government's way of trying to, free up some housing for Canadians to purchase, make things a bit more affordable. Now, the big question is, will this have an effect on our affordability? Well, that's what we're talking about today. And before I get to our opinion on this, I want to basically talk a little bit about who is exempt and who this affects. So essentially, if you are a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, nothing to worry about. This basically, does not concern you. Now, residential property is affected. Okay. It includes detached houses, semis, condo buildings, basically anything under 3 units. So if you have a single family, a duplex or a triplex, this would affect you. This does not affect commercial properties. Okay. This will affect you whether you are, doing this on a personal basis or through a corporation. Now, one of the other big exemptions that does affect some of our population here in Windsor-Essex County, and I was reminded of after my interview with Mike and Leah this week, is Pelee Island. Pelee Island is exempt. And to tell us about why it's exempt and, what this means for those residents and homeowners on Pelee Island and those looking to purchase and move to Pelee Island eventually, which we hope, Nick and I, someday to have a property on Pelee Island, is the new mayor-elect, Cathy Miller. Hi, Kath. How are you?
I'm very well, Dan. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. So the island is exempt from the new act, is it not?
That is what my interpretation is, based on the CMHC directives around certain locations that are exempt based on agglomerated population size of over 10,000, which we are not, or a metropolitan zone with a core population of 50,000 or more, which we are not. If we were, part of Essex County, one of the 7 municipalities in the county of Essex, it would apply to us because we would have an agglomerated population of more than 10,000. So at the moment, we are not our municipality would be outside of those lines, which, I think, it's a 2-year ban. So it's not permanent. And certainly the federal and the provincial government have stated their priorities of making sure that housing is available to Canadian residents and Canadian citizens, and certainly that's a concern to us on Pelee Island as well. But I think one of the biggest concerns around the ban that maybe isn't really being talked about a little bit is that if you are an American landowner in Canada, like own a residential property, and you were trying to pass it to your next generation, or you have it in a trust to be passed to the next generation, or you want to make it a gift. These are also exemptions. So that's also something I think, if any Americans are trying to sell their property, gift their property, or pass to the next generation through a trust, that they make sure that they engage the appropriate real estate lawyers to kind of work through that, because I think there's some options there, certainly.
Now, Kath, do you know offhand how many properties are on Pelee Island?
How many properties? That is a great question. I can tell you that, percentage-wise, about 32% of them would be American-owned.
Wow, that's a big number.
It is, and like I said, I think we're all pretty sensitive to the fact that the federal government and the provincial government have identified that there's a housing shortage.
Sure.
There's clearly a housing shortage. And on a place like Pelee Island, where we have 32% of our properties American owned, and another, over 40% of the remaining, or 35% of the remaining properties are seasonal properties.
Yeah.
There's been an affordable housing shortage on Pelee Island for years and years and years. So, there's all kinds of things that we consider or we think about when we're trying to, consider mechanisms to create affordable housing. I am curious to see in other regions if this type of ban is effective for 2 years, but we won't feel any of that on Pelee.
Well, and the listeners can hear our thoughts in just a second here on what we think this ban will mean as a whole for the rest of Windsor-Essex County. Before I let you go, though, Kath, you're the new mayor of the island, which is fantastic. Congratulations on that. What are the plans from the new council? Is there any direction on where you guys want things to go in the next 4 years?
Well, we are in process of doing that work, frankly. Right now, we're in council meetings. We have one next week. We have them every second Tuesday, and we're in the process of developing our strategic plan and our strategic priorities for this term of council. And we'll work with administration to come to a more formal document. There's, as I've outlined, there's so many different stakeholders on Pelee Island, whether they're residents or American or foreign landowners, and commercial and seasonal landowners. So we have a lot of different considerations than perhaps maybe a mainland municipality. So we're doing the work right now to kind of sift through what we need to focus on first, and realizing that all of our stakeholders are independent and all of their priorities are independent, and we want to make sure that we leverage some of our strength to lead to growth. Our biggest challenge is growing our population, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
230 people. Listen, all I need is 23 people, and we go up 10%, Dan. This is not a big challenge. 23 people. Just send me 23.
Well, I've got 5. Maybe at some point we'll make our way over there, Kath. And
listen, you could really move the needle.
You're right. I love it. Hey, listen, Mayor Cathy Miller with Pelee Island on the phone with us. I want to thank you for your insight, Kath, and great job with everything you're doing over on the island. I look forward to chatting some more as time goes on.
Thanks for including us, Dan. I appreciate it.
Of course. There you go. Mayor Cathy Miller of Pelee Island on the phone. So, Joyce, Fadi, I want some opinions. What do you guys think? Joyce, let's start with you. What do you see happening with this foreign ban?
I don't see the prohibition era returning,
yeah.
being a huge having a huge effect on us. I really, truly don't.
Right.
We take into account provincially that foreign buyers account for about 3.5% or something along those lines.
Between 2 and 4% Ontario. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there are some exemptions. So take those exemptions into account now, and now we're looking at even fewer people really affecting the
needle.
Yeah.
I think this was the government's way of trying. This is a year and a half in the making, and it's too little, too late. I think now the market forces are working. The interest rates hikes have done the job of quelling the market, and prices have come down. They will not come down to where people are hoping they'll come down to, but I think the government took too long to make this work. And I don't think we'll see much of an effect. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see us here in Windsor-Essex having much of a, having this make much of a difference.
As Cathy said, though, it's going to affect different markets in different ways. Toronto, for example.
I was going to say the Muskokas,
yeah.
the cottage countries, those areas where Americans are purchasing more properties. Maybe yes, which we do have some of that in Windsor-Essex.
Yeah, we definitely do.
It's not a major market, not enough to make a difference with what the government was trying to do.
Right.
In my opinion, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong. But there you go. If you have any questions about anything you heard on that topic, give us a text here at 10800. We're happy to tackle that live on the air for you right here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show. We're going to take a break, get to our fun question of the day. Did you set a New Year's resolution? Did we? Well, that's the question. Text us right now, 10800 with your answer. If you did, what is it? If not, why not? And don't forget, we also have our Richmond Popcorn Company contest. You can win a $50 gift card for the Richmond Popcorn Company. Text us right now with our special keyword popcorn with your first and last name to 10800, and you're automatically entered to win. We'll give away that gift card later on in this show. Lots more to come right here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.